Hola chicos, hoy es jueves, el 28 de enero de 2021. Hoy tenemos para empezar, por favor, trabaja en tu quiz 4.2. Después, por favor, toma the practice quiz. Toma means to take, right? So take this warm-up practice quiz that's going to be reviewing your ER, IR, and AR regular verb conjugations. And you're watching today's lesson. So thanks for being here today with me. I'm going to look over at my in-person schedule just to keep us on track. Alright, so first we're going to review our E to IE stem changing verbs. If you remember, we learned this a couple weeks ago and took notes. We have our verbs like cerrar, entender, preferir. These all keep the same verb endings as our regular AR, ER, and IR verbs like AR is o, as, a, amos, ais, an, ER, o, as, a, amos, as, ain, and IR is o, as, a, emos, is, ain. Okay? And remember the boot form, right? So these three and this one over here in kind of a boot are the ones that stem change the E to the IE in my stem, which is before I take off the AR, ER, or IR. But my nosotros and my vosotros don't change in the stem. So here are these verb charts, if we remember that. Hopefully you wrote this down or made a Google Doc. We're going to add to that today, so go ahead and find that. And if you have that, if not, this is a good time to start making your own notes. So today we're looking at another stem change. So we've learned E to IE. Now we're going to learn O to UE. So the grammar connection is, remember, there are no stem changing verbs. So I like how they write for us. The connection is there's no connection. Okay? So in Spanish, O to UE stem change happens in all three classes of verbs, our AR, ER, and IR verbs, just like our E to IE stem changes. So some verbs have a O to UE stem change in the present tense. I'm on page 223, by the way. Here's how you do it. We keep the same AR, ER, and IR endings. For the O to UE stem changing verb, the last O of the stem changes to the UE in all forms except nosotros and vosotros. So the last O of the stem. Here there's only one O of the stem. Our stem here is just the POD, right? Because we're taking off the ER. That's how we find the stem. All of my verb except for the last two letters. So I'm going to change my stem here to a UE instead of an O. Puedo, and add my yo conjugation. Puedes, my to conjugation. Puede and pueden. My nosotros and vosotros, I'm going to keep the stem exactly the same. Podemos and podes. Again, my verb endings o, as, a, amos, as, ain are the same as if I was just conjugating a regular ER verb. Like if I conjugated comer, it'd be como, comes, come, comemos, comes, comen. See that? So same verb endings, we're just changing the stem a little bit. Carmen puede ir al concierto. Carmen can go to the concert. Other verbs you know that have the stem change are almorzar, costar, dormir, encontrar, and volver. Okay? So this means to eat lunch, to cost, to sleep, to encounter or to find, and to return. Almuerzo a la una. I eat lunch at 1 o'clock. Antonio, ¿cuándo vuelves? Antonio, when are you coming back? So what I want us to do, chicos, is I want us to go ahead and come over here to our notes. And let's just make some notes for ourselves, okay? So we had our E to IE notes. Now, if you already wrote that, go ahead and just change it to stem changing notes. Here's my E to IE. Now I'm going to add my O to UE. Whoops. O to UE stem changers. And again, taking notes like this at home will help you in studying for tests and just getting this down. So step 1 is, what are we going to do first? Are we going to take off the ending, or are we going to change the stem? Let's take off the ending first. Take off the AR, ER, or IR of your verb. Of your infinitive verb, I'll say. Step 2, change the last O in the stem, which is what remains after you take off the AR, ER, or IR, to a UE. Step 3, add the appropriate conjugation. Which is, or like verb ending. Okay? So let's try that with almorzar. Let's go ahead and insert our table 2x3. So I would say yo, and here is my almorzar. Okay? Here's my infinitive. I'm taking off step 1, the AR, ER, IR, so boom, boom. This is my stem, almorz. Now I'm changing the last O of the stem to a UE, UE, and now I'm adding the appropriate conjugation. So since it's yo, and it's an AR verb, I'm just going to add an O. Yo almuerzo. Once you get that down, it should be pretty straightforward. Yo almorzar, again take off the AR, change the O to a UE, and now think, what is my to conjugation of an AR verb? It's just AS, tú almuerzas. Él, ella, and usted almuerza. See that? Again, almorzar, take off the AR, change the O to a UE in my stem, and add my él, ella, usted verb ending for my AR verbs. Now, if you don't remember your verb endings for your AR, ER, and IR verbs, I highly recommend you go to review that. On our book, does it tell us where do we go to review that? See page 199. Let's see if that's where we need to go. Oh, that was on E to IE. Okay, so that's our E to IE stem changing verbs. Go back in the book to review your stem changers, but also, if you look up regular present tense verb conjugations online, there'll be tons of notes on that. But you must know that to proceed well. Anyway, back to our notes. Nosotros almorzar. Now here in our nosotros form, remember we still have the boot. So since this is the nosotros form, we're not changing the stem. We're just going to take the AR off and add the nosotros ending. Amos, almorzamos. Same with vosotros, almorzáis, my bad. Almorzáis. And now we're back in the boot, right? So, ellos, ellas, and ustedes almuerzan. Again, take off the AR, change the O to a UE, and then add my AN for my AR verb ending. Almuerzan. Again, you can see my boot. Whoops. Here. Everything within this boot is an stem changer. Everything outside the boot, just like up here, is going to keep the same stem. All right. Remember this step, maybe I should add that to our notes. The second step only applies to the yo, to, él, ella, usted. Let me make those slashes so we don't get confused. él, ella, usted, and ellos, ellas, ustedes conjugations. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do that with an IR verb. Dormir. Insert table 2x3. Okay, so yo, dormir. We're going to take off the IR, change the O to a UE, and add the yo ending, which is just an O. Changing back my keyboard to dormir, take off the ending, O to UE, add the to conjugation, to duermes, él, ella, usted, duerme. Okay, and once you understand that the stem's going to be duerm, you can just keep going with that, right? Nosotros would be dormir, keep the stem the same, and add the nosotros ending. Dormimos, dormís, and duermen. Okay, same thing with our ER verbs. So go ahead and add that one to your notes too. It's going to be yo, volver, take off the ER, change the O to a UE, so now I have my stem, right? Vuelve. So just add an O for the yo conjugation. Yo vuelvo, tú vuelves. Él, ella, usted vuelve. Now we're not changing the stem, we're keeping it the same, volv. And our nosotros ending would be vemos, volvéis, and back to the stem change, vuelven. So a good sentence for this could be like, yo vuelvo a mi casa a las 5 de la tarde, right? I return to my house at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You can also add one for encontrar and costar too, if you want to practice those. A good sentence for duermo could be like, yo duermo mucho durante el fin de semana. I sleep a lot during the weekend. Almorzar, mi amigo y yo almorzamos los sábados. So like I said, feel free to do a table for costar as well, and as well for encontrar, insert table. I'm not going to do those with you, you can do those on your own. You're going to be stem changing this O, and in costar you'll be stem changing this O. But I think you guys get the point. So that's your O to UE stem changing verbs. Now what I have for you is a Canvas activity. I'll upload that soon. But that's just going to be for you guys to work on your conjugations. Am I matching this with my subject, right? Lorena, no blank, so I need to match it with the él, ella, usted conjugation. Scrolling down, then you guys are going to fill in the conjugations on your own. Almorzar, that would be ella, so ella almuerza, right? And finally, I have a reading comprehension question for you, so do your best to understand this paragraph and answer the last 3 questions. That's it, chicos. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll continue to practice this tomorrow. And, yeah. Adios y hasta mañana.